We have a wonderful podcast, A Journey into the Minds of Strange People Doing Strange Things. My name's James. Come in, sit down, take a seat, take a knee. I'm pissed this morning. We've got some pretty serious topics to discuss today, not least of which is important and bad. Good? Blumhouse. I've got an issue with Blumhouse. Long time watchers of the show, long-time listeners, long-time knowers of me will know that I'm a horror movie fan, okay? I'm a horror nut, squirreling away, and I've been burned. Look, every horror film fan, you get burned. You get duped by good cover art. You get duped by a good trailer. You get duped by a good marketing campaign, okay? It seems like horror movies are rife with duping. It's a very dupe-heavy section of entertainment media. And look, I'm going to say it for a long time. Blumhouse films, Blumhouse Productions, Jason Blumhouse. This video is for Jason Blumhouse, and if you're not him, keep scrolling. Anyway, Jason, what the fuck, dude? All right? There was once a time where Blumhouse was the bat signal in the sky of we're cooking with something good here. Now it is a warning. It is a biohazard label on the front of a horror movie. I got burned. This week. I watched Imaginary. I watched quite a lot of horror movies this week, actually. I'm not going to spoil any of them, but here's the quick takeaway if you want to skip this part. But the only movie worth your time right now that's a horror movie that's recently come out is The First Omen. I know, dude. I know. I was just as surprised as you are. The First Omen? Another fucking prequel, remake, sequel, prequel? Yeah, dude. I know. And they usually suck. See the Paranormal Activity movies. 1, good. 2, I think good. I can't really remember. 3, I think also might still be okay. And it falls off after that point. I think they did time travel in one, and then they did a portal and a painting in another one. You know, you can't trust all the movies in the franchise, okay? Jason X is a great example of that, okay? Some people probably love that one. I'm not a fan. Too dumb. Got too silly. The man that walks around in a mask that says nothing, who's got some mummy trauma, who likes to hack people up with a machete. Yeah, I didn't like the one where he went to space. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Okay, let's get back to let's focus our rage, our Blumhousian rage. Okay, I tweeted this earlier this week. I said that I think I'm done. The movie Imaginary was the nail in the coffin for Blumhousian films for me. Okay, there was some light in the dark when Invisible Man came out. Invisible Man by Lee Winnell. That movie fucks. That's a good movie. It was made with like $5 million, had like no studio involvement, super low budget. Great movie. Great movie. I can't remember the actress's name who's in that. She's also in Handmaid's Tale. She's great. She's great in that. So check that out. But dude, Black Christmas, the Black Christmas remake. Oh my God. You had to call it that, huh? Okay. 1974 version still stands up. Go watch the original. Don't watch the remake. It's super weird. I'm not even joking. In the remake of Black Christmas, there's actually dudes who at one point get like super revved up alpha male by like sipping juice that comes out of an idol or something. That sounds fucking stupid. That's because it is. Hey, that might sound dumb to you. That's because it's really fucking dumb. And it was a bad movie. And Sam and I went to go see that. And when we did, people were audibly sighing in the cinema at Black Christmas. They were going, oh, for fuck's sake. Oh my God. You could hear the eye rolls. It was crazy. Anyway, Blumhousian Rage. I'm fueled by a Blumhousian Rage this morning. I've had a Red Bull, a coffee, and I'm fueled with Blumhousian Rage. Okay? Because when I went to go see First Omen, I was like, holy shit, this is actually good. I know I'm bouncing around all over the place, but this is stream of consciousness. I don't have anything written down for this. Bear with me. Okay. There are always timestamps if you don't want the horror rant. Check the timestamps. Thank you so much. But surprisingly, First Omen was good. It's the only new horror movie that's out that's worth watching. So go check that out. It's not even, it's kind of like a horror movie that you could recommend to non-horror fans because it's just a movie that happens to have horror elements and be a horror movie, and it's pretty good. So go check that out. I saw it when I was extremely high though, so I'm going to level with you. I was a little bit lost towards the end for a little bit, but that's not the movie's fault. That was my fault. That was my fault on that one. I went in a little inebriated, I'm going to be honest. And maybe I need to see it sober. What if I'm recommending it and it's like actually trash? But not that I need to tell you this one because the title tells you to stay away from it. But Baghead, don't see Baghead. And don't see Baghead. And Imaginary, I would also keep it in your imaginary because it's going to be better than the actual movie. Imaginary was... I'm just so disappointed. I'm just so disappointed, dude. What happened to Blumhouse? You know, oneweirdpodcast@gmail.com. Send me an email. What was the film that Blumhouse, where all of it just went to shit? I think it might have been when he started doing TV shows. When he split off part of his company to do like the Scream TV series or whatever. I think that was sort of the downfall. But yeah, no, anyway, even I'm tapering off this. All I'm going to say is I have Jason Blumhouse. It's on site. We have beef, and all Blumhousian films are now, if it's a Blumhousian film, that's a warning to me now. I feel like, did I watch something else? I saw Baghead. You'll Never Find Me. That was the other one that I saw. You'll Never Find Me is an Australian horror movie, and I had such high hopes for this thing. And it was such a slow burn to just give you a cacophony of images and sounds to wrap it up, because I don't think they even knew how to wrap it up. So it's been a disappointing week for horror movies. Thankfully, First Omen is trying to, claw it back, but it's been a lopsided week. More bad than good, and all Blumhousian films, let that logo be a warning to you. Okay, that's it. Horror movie rant over. Welcome back to all of those who skipped the horror movie rant section. The rest of the episode today is going to be as chaotic as that initial section of the show, because quite frankly, I'm bouncing around for some shit that might help me. You know what? It's going to be a little bit more self-indulgent today. I'm going to read some stuff that hopefully will help me as much as it might help you. So today, for all of our people pleasers, our anxiety sufferers, our perfectionists, shouts to all the perfectionists, God, it's crippling. Are our fears of saying no overblown? Great question. Thank you so much for asking it. The conversation. Everyone has been there. You get invited to something that you absolutely do not want to attend. A holiday party, a family cookout, an expensive trip. But doubts and anxiety creep in your head as you weigh whether to decline. I'll tell you what, there's nothing better. There's nothing better than a cancelled plan, but more specifically, a cancelled meeting. Oh, when that email comes in, and it's an afternoon meeting. You've got an afternoon meeting looming over the entire rest of your day, and then they hit you at like 10 a.m. with a can't make it. You go, just got my whole day back. Oh my God. Oh, it's orgasmic. You might wonder if you'll upset the person who invited you. Maybe it'll harm your friendship, or they won't extend an invite next time there's a get-together. I used to have a friend that would always decline the invitation, but he always wanted to be invited. So even though you knew he was going to say no, you still had to invite him so that he felt like he was still a part of it and was choosing to decline, and then he didn't get FOMO for the event. So always did that. Send him an invite, even though it was going to be no every time. But he's still, because he complained to the friend group times where he didn't get invited, and it's like, well, we knew you were going to say no, and he's like, yeah, but I want to be invited. So it's like, okay, well, we'll play this game, we'll do this dance, I guess, if it makes you feel better, and it did. So that's good, and it's good to do good things for your friends. Okay, that's a takeaway. Should you just grit your teeth and go, or are you worrying more than you should about saying no? I'll answer that one absolutely. And the overthink of it, it's so debilitating. I just realized for the video viewer, it's a very vibrant set piece in here today. And I am just now realizing that there's, I don't know if I've consciously or subconsciously done this, but there's a very bright, vibrant setting. And then the sort of the content that we're discussing is quite down and complainy. So hopefully that it mellows out to an even middle ground. But if you're just a podcast listener, I guess you just get nothing but down. But just know that the video version, youtube.com/@weirdbutwonderful, you could see such a great, bright set piece. Thank you so much. What was I saying? Yeah, overthinking things. I had a meeting where they were like, hey, let's have a chat about something. And it's like, and in prep for that meeting, I did a full audit of all of their like social channels and stuff. And it was, ended up being great because I could send it to them. But, you know, was it necessary for that meeting? No, not at all. Not at all. Did I put way too much work into it? Yeah, I did. Yeah. Is that a problem? Yes. Yes, it is. That's some overthinking, over-preparedness, perfectionism, trying to control, you know, the outcome of an unknowable situation. Should I go to therapy? Yes. Can I afford it? Obviously not. I live in Australia. Okay, sorry. Hey, sorry. No, you know what? I'm not sorry. Dude. I said at an earlier point that this was probably going to be self-indulgent, so I'm not sorry about it. But again, so sorry. In a pilot study that they ran ahead of the main studies, they found that 77% of their 51 respondents had accepted an invitation to an event that they didn't want to attend, fearing blowback if they were to decline. They worried that saying no might upset, anger, or sadden the person who invited them. They also worried that they wouldn't be invited to events down the road and that their own invitations would be rebuffed. They ran a series of studies in which they asked people to imagine declining an invitation and then report their assumptions about how the person extending the invite would feel. We had asked other participants to imagine that someone had declined invitations they had extended themselves, then asked how they feel about the rejection. We ended up finding quite the mismatch. People tend to assume others will react poorly when an invitation isn't accepted, but they're relatively unaffected when someone turns down an invite they've extended. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty easy to be like, oh, they're going to fucking hate me for this. Oh my God, this is I can't believe I'm doing, hey, I'm so sorry. And they're just like, yeah, that's cool. Oh. I kind of derailed my whole day worrying about that one, but cool. In fact, people extending invites were much more understanding and less upset, angry, or sad than invitees anticipated. They also said they would be rather unlikely to let a single declined invitation keep them from offering or accepting invitations in the future. We found that the asymmetry between people extending and receiving invites occurred regardless of whether it involved two friends, a new couple, or two people who had been in a relationship for a long time. Why does this happen? Our findings suggest that when someone declines an invitation, they think the person who invited them will focus on the cold, hard rejection. But in reality, the person extending the invite is more likely to focus on the thoughts and deliberations that ran through the head of the person who declined. They'll tend to assume that the invitee gave due consideration to the prospect of accepting, and this generally leaves them less bothered than might be expected. Interestingly, while our research examined invitations to fun events, other studies have found that the same pattern emerges when someone is asked to do a favor and they decline. Even with the less enjoyable requests, people overestimate the negative implications of saying no. There are a few things you can do to make things easier. Here we go. Okay, so basically we know now that when someone invites us and we say no, they're not really fucking fussed about it. But here's how we lay the groundwork for future invites. There are a few things you can do to make things easier on yourself as you grapple with whether to decline an invitation. Okay. I'm already saying no, all right? I've grappled, I'm saying no. Now what? First, imagine that you were the one extending the invitation. Our research shows that people are less likely to overestimate the negative implications of declining an invitation after they envision how they would feel if someone turned down their invite. Dude, this is some psychology shit. Okay, this is good stuff. So, I've got the invite in the mail. You're going to have a fucking wedding in Italy, dude? Of course. That sucks. That sucks for everyone that you've invited. Now they have to book plane tickets and hotels and, this is so expensive. I'm saying no. And then you think, sorry, that's so oddly specific. That's so specific. And maybe there's more to that because like a wedding is like kind of important. Let's go with someone wants to meet at Video Easy. Okay, cool. Hey, let's go to Video Easy. So I have to imagine inviting someone and them declining. What would I think and feel? I wouldn't give a shit. I don't care. I mean, it obviously contextually depends upon what the event is. Like, hey, like I'm going to a funeral and I really need you to be there. Why does my brain go to like, it can't go to like something serious without being the worst thing? God, come on. Okay, it's contextual, but for the most part, we don't really care if someone declines, do we? No, we don't. Second, if money is a reason you're considering passing on a dinner or a trip, share that with the person who invited you. As long as you feel comfortable doing so, of course. Okay, thank you. I was going to say, okay, it depends on my relationship with this person. I don't know if I feel comfortable saying, hey, do you want to do? And I have to send back, soz, too broke. Soz, the number 2, BRKE, sad face. Soz, too broke. Other researchers found that people are especially understanding when people cite finances in their reason for declining. Okay. That's a good one to know if you want to come up with a reason to not go to something. No, because usually you're just trying to get out of work, aren't you? And in that case, you have to say you're sick. I'm sick. I'm sorry. I'll tell you this, though. I'm not going to. I'm not going to. I will. I fractured my ankle. Didn't break it. I don't know the difference. I still don't know. I fractured my ankle walking to go get a battery for my smoke alarm. And the next day I was supposed to like work somewhere. And so I sent that person a Teams message and I came up with a different reason of how I fractured my ankle, just because walking I was like, this is so lame. I had to come up with a cooler reason. And I'll tell you this much, it wasn't that much cooler. It wasn't that much cooler, but it seemed like a more dangerous environment in which something like that could happen. I don't know why I lied about that. I don't know why I felt the need to be like, I can't just say I stepped weird, because that's fucked. It has to be more elaborate. I don't know if I'll keep that in or not. If I did, shut up. Don't tell anyone, okay? We buried it deep enough in the episode that I don't think anyone who doesn't need to know that will find it. But if you did find it, shut up and don't clip this section out. Thank you. Keep it to yourself. Anyway, third, consider the no but strategy that some therapists suggest. Hold on, some therapists suggest is like highlighted like it's a link. So I'm just going to see what that says. The art of saying no to invites when you really don't want to do something. Okay, well, we're definitely going to check that out after this. So third, consider the no but strategy. Decline the invitation, but offer to do something else with the person that invited you. Okay. With this method, you're making it clear to the person who invited you that you're not rejecting them, rather you're declining the activity. So sometimes I feel like therapists say things that would no doubt make the situation better. It would no doubt be more helpful for me, make me a stronger, better person. But I just can't do some of those, you know? You know what I mean? When you get one like this where it's like, say no, but make sure they know that you're just declining the activity and not them as a person. So I'm gonna send back to that like, hey, do you want to go to like Burger Urge? And I just go, no. Send that. Next text message. Love you, bro. Still love you, bro. Like that. Is that cool? Or does it have to be an activity? Because there's a bonus with this strategy is that you have the opportunities to suggest doing something that you actually want to do. Okay, so hey, do you want to go to Burger Urge? And I go, no, send back. And then I go, watch YouTube vids together on Tuesday, question mark? Hey, I've got a spare ticket to this concert. Do you want to come? No. Want to play CS on Wednesday, though, question mark. Send that back. You know. So with that method, we're making it pretty clear that we're not rejecting them as a person. We're just rejecting the activity, which in my mind, I would then think, if I'm trying to think how I would respond to that if someone texted me and said, I was like, oh, hey, do you want to do this thing? And it's like a thing that I like, and I think maybe like they might like it too. Because like otherwise, why am I inviting you to it if I know that you don't like the thing? Like if someone said to me like, hey, James, want to go to Summer Nats or whatever, or like some car show, I'd be like, no. But do you want to watch a horror movie? That just feels a little bit like, no, your stuff sucks. Let's do my shit instead. So I don't know if I'd pull that one out. I probably wouldn't. I'm going to be honest with myself. I don't think I would ever do a no but. Yeah. I would probably just come up with an excuse after like going over it and over and over and over and over and over in my head for ages and then sending it and then saying to myself, like, they don't buy this. You know, I should have just gone. Why didn't I just go? You know. Anyway, of course, there's a caveat to all of this. Oh, a little landmine later in the article. I should have kept reading. There's a caveat to all of this. If you decline every invitation sent your way, at some point, they'll probably stop coming. True. Which they don't make it explicitly clear here. That could be a tool that you could use to get someone to back off that you don't want to spend time with. Maybe. I don't know. But assuming you aren't a habitual naysayer. Okay, dude. Okay, dude. I thought this article was supposed to be helping me, not fucking attacking me. Jeez. But assuming you're not a habitual naysayer, don't beat yourself up if you end up declining an invitation every now and then. Chances are that the people who invited you will be less bothered than you think. That's true. That's true. So that's a good takeaway. I don't really like that it tried to trip me up towards the end there and then called me a name, but sure. And this is on Self. This is what it linked out to. The art of saying no to invites when you really don't want to do something. Okay, I feel like this is the actionable stuff. Get me into this. Okay. So, there are a few social interactions more panic-inducing than the moment a kind, friendly person invites you to do an activity or an event you really don't care to do, but you also don't have a good reason to say no. I feel like in a situation like that, I would lie. I'm not proud of it, okay? I just feel like I would lie, probably. You know the reason is just, nah. But you're also a kind and friendly person, so you aren't going to just say that. Okay? I mean, of course I'm not going to say, oh my God, dude, there's this thing. Oh, do you want to go to it? Nah. Of course I'm not going to say that. That's awful. That's so mean. You have manners and empathy. This is still the article. It's not me. I'm not being judgmental, to you. And now apparently an obligation to go roller skating next Saturday with a bunch of strangers, even though you deeply don't want to. It can be difficult to say no to an invite when your reason boils down to, I just don't want to. Because a lot of us don't think that that's a valid excuse. That's true. I really don't think saying just no a lot of the time is, but, you know, we're learning, we're growing, okay? Now, why should we say no? First of all, time, money, and energy are the most valuable resources, and how you choose to spend them is directly related to who you are and ultimately the life you want to live. And if you don't decide how you want to spend your TME, time, money, and energy, and then protect those resources, other people will decide for you. Dude, she's not wrong. Rachel Wilkerson Miller, dude. Absolutely. What a great case for no. I'm already feeling better about saying no. Thank you, Rachel. You can't really be your happiest, most authentic self if you regularly abdicate this responsibility. That's so true. That's so true, Rachel. Thank you. Beyond that, I look at saying no to hangout requests as a gateway drug to setting boundaries in general. When you realize that you have the right and the ability to say no thanks or I'm not into that without the world coming to an end, it's pretty life-changing. Damn, dude, just flippantly going in there and someone's like, hey, you want to go to this? And you go, no thanks. That's not really my speed. Oh, could you imagine? We aspire to that level. Do it a few times and you'll begin to see that a cornucopia of possibility and freedom awaits. On the other hand, if you can't tell a total stranger, oh, no, thank you, I'd rather not, when they try to offer you a perfume sample at the mall or get you to sign their petition in the park, you're probably not going to be comfortable telling a friend it's time for a subject change when their I hate my boss monologue enters its third hour, or telling your parents you can only stay for a weekend instead of their proposed 14 days. Damn. I know people who struggle with this stuff. Because I feel like for me, if someone comes up to me like a salesperson, that's an instance, I'm going to be honest, that's an instance where like, and maybe this is really bad, but I kind of like, you have to not engage with those people like they're a person. And I have a reason, I have a reason to back this up. Thank you. Don't judge. Thank you so much. Like getting ahead of everything I'm saying as I'm saying it. I think that because I work in marketing, so I know that salespeople at all levels, they're just operating off of a script, essentially, right? They have a sales script that they've had to learn and they're taught, basically, don't take no for an answer. If people have certain objections, you've got other parts of the script to jump to. They're not engaging with you like a human being, right? They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you. They're not actually trying to have an authentic chat or connection with you at all. They're just operating off of a script to get to an end state, which is, money out of your fucking pocket or a sign up for something or your contact information or whatever. So I find it a lot easier to just shut down salespeople and just go, no. Because again, they don't see you as a person. Feel free to don't see them as a person. Don't I don't mean that and take that as an opportunity to be a piece of shit. I'm just saying take that as an opportunity to you should feel comfortable saying no to those people, right? Because they're not trying to authentically engage with you. So there's kind of no reason to authentically engage with them. It's shitty role play, you know what I mean? And when they come in there, hey man, love your tattoos, how's your day going or whatever, to ease their way in, and you go, oh my God, that's nauseating. Sorry, it is. Shouts to all the salespeople. It's tough. It's tough what you're doing, but we don't have to love it and we don't have to engage with it. So sorry. So we know that it can be tough to set boundaries. It's the gateway drug to set boundaries. And if you can hear an insane amount of noise in the background, that's because there are commercial-sized bins being emptied directly on the other side of the window that's in front of me. So, welcome to hell. But what do we actually say? Look, we're trying to say no. We're trying to set boundaries. You know, a lot of the time it's difficult to, you just end up saying yes because you don't have something good to say back. So what do we actually say? Well, Rachel says that she knows declining an invitation can feel stressful or guilt-inducing in the moment, but it doesn't have to be that way. It just takes practice. The more you do it, the more you'll realize that most people can actually handle it and that it won't negatively affect your relationships. If you need a little help formulating a response for these situations, okay, 6, she's got some scripts below. So regardless of what you say, your tone matters a lot. So we're aiming for warm, but relatively neutral and matter of fact. And keep it short. There's also no need to beg for forgiveness, get into all your boring personal reasons, or present an 8-part defense as though you're Alexandra Cabot in Law and Order SVU. That's a deep cut. Sam will understand that one, though. Sam loves SVU. So treat saying no as normal because it is normal. Yes, Rachel. Okay. So the hardest part about all of that for me, if I'm honest, is the realizing that there's no need to beg for forgiveness, get all your boring personal reasons, or present an 8-part defense. Because I feel like I would immediately have to go to justification to like sell it. You know what I mean? So get comfy saying no. We're going to say it warm. We're going to say it neutral, matter of fact, and we're going to keep it short. Test version. Oh, hey, James, we're going to the F1 on the weekend. Do you want to come with? Oh, wow. Thanks so much for the invite. That's not really my type of thing, but I appreciate the invite, though. How was that? Let me know in the comments, on the email. How'd I do? Was it warm? Did it feel relatively neutral? And was it matter of fact? I don't remember, but I feel like it potentially was none of those things. She says there's no reason to like give a personal reason. I feel like I did give a personal reason there. So I fucked it up out of the gate, but I'm going to keep practicing. If it's date specific and you'd prefer to be doing not this on the day/time in question, here's what we can say back. Oh, thank you so much. Dude, I just realized how fucked mine was before and how easy it is to say that now. But it's like, I'm never going to say that at the time or in the moment. Or yes, I will because we're practicing it. Okay. So this is if it's date specific. Thank you so much for thinking of me. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it, but thank you for the invitation. That's kind of similar to what I said, actually, but I gave like a personal reason that I wasn't into it. And another one is, oh, that sounds lovely, but I won't be able to make it. Have a great time, though. Have a great time, though. Well, she says, but have a great time, which I feel like sounds better. I'll run that back. Take 2. Oh, that sounds lovely, but I won't be able to make it. But have a great time. Oh, don't say it how I'm saying it. Take the words that I'm saying, but don't add the inflection that I'm adding because that sounded condescending. But have a great time. Why did I say it like that? If you're probably never going to be up for doing an activity at the suggested day/time, oh, we got way more. Oh, that concert sounds really fun, but I can't really do big outings on weeknights because of work. But have a great time. I would never say that one. Oh, that sounds lovely, but I have a rule that I don't make plans on Sundays. It's my day to, and then they've got like decompress or not talk to anyone, catch up with parents, do all the chores and errands. But thanks so much for thinking of me. I would feel a little bit crazy if I came out with that. Like, oh, thank you so much, but I have a rule. Okay, here's my rule. I know that we have like rules and stuff for ourselves, but I don't know why it feels weird to me to have those rules. Yeah, make that make sense? I don't know. Oh, that sounds like a blast, but I'm pretty committed to my 10 p.m. sleep schedule on weeknights these days, but thanks for the invite. Roller skating really isn't my thing, so I'm going to have to sit this one out. That's not too bad. Thank you for thinking of me, but music festival / the beach / amusement parks. Okay, so this would be me saying like, Oh, man, thank you. Oh, thanks so much, man. But beaches, it's just not really my thing. That's not bad. But that's because I genuinely don't like the beach. Okay. This chubby, pale, Scottish, jeaned sack of meat does not do well in the sun. I'm not even joking. One time I had to fix my steering wheel column, and I was outside for probably 45 minutes, and I have never sunburnt. I don't know how. My entire body was in the sun, right? Only my neck got burned and some of my face, and it was the worst burn I've ever had ever. My neck, I was I couldn't move, Strapped me in a fucking neck brace. I couldn't do nothing. Sorry. Back to this. You could also add something like, but I'd love to see you and catch up soon. How about some alternative programming that you both enjoy? Okay. Right. Oh, Sam, sorry, dude. I'm not really not into 80s pop music festivals. Damn, but it's not really my speed. But maybe next weekend we could catch up. Tell me all about it. Still doesn't just feel good, does it? If you're low on bandwidth and expect to be for the foreseeable future, here are some other options. Oh, I'd love to see you and catch up, but I haven't been able to get much time to myself lately, and I promised myself I'd just hunker down and have a quiet weekend. Yeah. I've got to stop being so judgmental of these responses. Cherry pick the ones that work for you. I don't really have the bandwidth for much socializing right now, but I'd love to do something else at date/time in a couple days/weeks, months when you'd be up for it. I don't have much room for extracurriculars these days, but I'd love to do something else. Oh, that sounds amazing, but I haven't been sleeping well lately and promised myself I'd stop going to so many pool parties so that I can establish a more consistent schedule. So the ones about establishing a schedule or getting serious about a schedule that you've set for yourself feel bizarre to me, and I don't really know what that is. I don't understand why. I know I haven't been able to come to the last few times that you've invited me, but it's not because I don't want to. My schedule's just really busy, and in general, roller skating isn't really my jam. This is actually what it said. / I've been pretty depressed, and honestly, socializing is a bit of a struggle right now. But I hope the stars will align soon and I'll be able to attend. Some of these feel a little AI towards the end. You know what I mean? There's these weird sort of things that don't quite feel like a person would say it. Rachel says, note that the last one is a good option when you've declined a couple of invites from the same person. And by the way, you don't have to offer an alternative hangout at some other future date in any of the above examples if you'd prefer not to. In that case, you can just say, but thanks so much for the invitation. Oh, damn, man, I'd love to, but, the beach isn't really my speed. But thanks so much for the invitation. Appreciate it. It feels easy, but that's because we're not talking to people, you know what I mean? And if you need a moment to compose yourself before you respond, so these are classics, let me check my calendar and get back to you. But Rachel's got a note on making up excuses. She says that in general, she's against fabricating a reason when declining an invite. And that's because if you tell a lie that you can't attend on that particular date, when it's really about the activity itself, the person might respond by asking you to do the activity on a different day, which will put you in the same awkward position. True. Or they might assume you actually love roller skating and want to be on the invite list for future roller skating events. This outcome is good for exactly no one. Alternatively, if they somehow find out you didn't actually have real plans or the plans you claim to have that day, or they later discover that you do in fact like roller skating, they might actually feel worse because they'll assume it was personal and that you just didn't want to hang out with them. When you're simply a little bit more honest about the reason why you can't make it, you communicate important information. I do in fact like you, but I don't in fact like roller skating or weeknight hangouts. The honest response tells them that you trust them enough to be authentic and open with them, and that you care about them enough to build a relationship where you feel seen and known. Damn, Rachel. Rachel making a great case for the truth. All right, these therapists and stuff, they know what they're on about. They've got good reasons. But also, if we want to be allowed to say no, we have to be willing to extend that option to others. So remember, if someone declines your invitation, it's really okay. Doesn't necessarily mean they don't like you or that they don't want to be friends. And if someone always declines your invitations and you do start to suspect that they don't really want to be your friend, that's another matter. It might mean that they don't want to be your friend, which is disappointing and stings, but that's also fine because you don't actually want to be friends with people who don't want to be friends with you, or who don't share any of your interests. Dude, Rachel, can we be friends? Because you're so understanding. Yes. And also, Rachel making the greatest case for why we should be honest when we say no. So then we can extend that to others. And if we feel okay saying no, when someone else says no to us, we get it. Because Rachel's made us a better person. Thank you, Rachel. If you're feeling bummed about the no thank you, remind yourself that declining an invite can leave a person feeling vulnerable and requires courage, even from relatively assertive people. So they might feel pretty strongly about this. I've also found it helpful to view a no not as a slight, but as a favor. Because again, there's nothing worse than knowing that someone was dreading spending time with you or regretted investing their time in something they didn't want to do. They're also doing you the favor of saying no now instead of saying yes and then flaking on you. And they're giving you permission to say no to them someday. So if someone says, I can't make it, let that be good enough. Trust that they have their reasons, respect their willingness to protect their time, and move on. If someone says, I don't like roller skating, believe that they simply don't like roller skating. If someone says they're too busy, don't judge them for spending the evening doing nothing instead. Making the choice to do nothing when you are otherwise busy is a big deal. If someone says they can't afford to join you for dinner, don't mentally catalog all of the expensive shoes they own and the amount of $5 lattes you've seen them consume this week. A declined invitation simply means this is not how I want to spend my time at this moment. And even if that feels a little bad, it's okay. Damn, dude. Shouts to Rachel. That was Rachel Wilkerson Miller, the editor-in-chief of Self and the author of The Art of Showing Up, How to Be There for Yourself and Your People, and Dot Journaling, a practical guide. Damn, I mean, and that's going to do it for this episode. We've grown. We've altered ourselves. We are better people. 2 takeaways. Check your local listings for any Blumhousian films. Wear that as I'm not saying don't see them, because there could be a gem in there. You know what I mean? You could be seeing an Invisible Man. You know, a Lee Winnell's Invisible Man. I think Lee Winnell's working on Wolfman, which might also be a Blumhousian film. And that's a difficult one because Blumhouse, we know that's a warning label now, but Lee Winnell, that's a green light, you know? Lee Winnell is also the dude that co-wrote and co-made Saw. I think he co-created Saw. Australian dude. Invisible Man. Check that out, though. Good movie. And First Omen, also worth your time. Check that out as well. And, of course, our other takeaway being that get comfy, say a no. It's okay to say no. And when other people say no back to you, that's cool as well. No's aren't bad. That's the takeaway. You know, a no is that's someone just protecting their TME, their time, money, and energy. Plus, like, a lot of the time people, you know, they might have just had like a busy day or whatever, and they're like, oh, I can't wait to get home and fucking just veg. And then someone's like, hey, you want to come to this thing? You go, oh, I couldn't think of anything worse. So it's cool to say no. Say no. Be okay with other people saying no. That's the main takeaway. But yeah, that is going to do it for this one. If you've got any news, articles, snippets, stories, findings, interesting little bits and bobs, shoot me an email, oneweirdpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to keep up to date with me, you can find me at mypixelpersona on Instagram and TikTok. I've actually been posting more on TikTok, so go check that out. Or at One Weird Podcast on Instagram and TikTok for the show. Subscribe to the YouTube. Get yourself the video version of the show every week. youtube.com/@weirdbutwonderful. Chuck a rating and review on iTunes or Spotify, wherever you get podcasts. Slap a rating on it because those are important for those systems, and it helps people like you find the show. It helps us grow this thing. And, you know, who doesn't want to, when you make something, you want people to see it. You know, sometimes you go through, you know, makers of things. Where are my makers of things? You know exactly how you feel when you make stuff. You want people to see it, but you also want no one to see it. I'd love to do this anonymously. You know what I mean? If I could just wear a mask and then do this, and that'd be my ideal, if I'm perfectly honest. Why? Who knows? Maybe we'll delve into another psychology article next week and discover what's wrong with me then. But this week, we're feeling good about saying no, and we're being careful of Blumhousian films. Love ya. See you next week.